Welcome to Relished. I'm Alli. I am a nutritionist and yoga teacher, and I'm here to talk to you about nutrition-related topics on a weekly basis. So, welcome to the show. Today is a super extra exciting episode for many reasons. One, we're still at the Island House, which is wonderful. As you can tell, I'm in a different location than I usually am, but I was here last week as well. We're still here. And second of all, it's Raphael, my husband's birthday, which his meal request for his birthday dinner was to have a Mediterranean meal. And I thought, this is an excellent way for us. Joaquin, my son, he's waving to me from the other window. So I thought this would be an excellent reason to talk about the Mediterranean diet, and then we'll make some of the things that we're going to be making tonight for the dinner. So it all works out well. Happy birthday, Raphael. Super excited for our dinner tonight. Okay, so I have an audience through the window over there. Okay, so the Mediterranean diet. I know that you've all probably heard of it and know that it's a good diet or a good lifestyle, good diet, lots of healthy stuff, but I just want to talk about it. Talk about all the reasons why it's good, what food goes into it, what lifestyle components go into it as well. Then we'll make a couple recipes, one recipe for sure. If we have time for two recipes, then we'll do two. So, the Mediterranean diet. Okay, so you know how I love studies, and then we'll make some food. So, the Mediterranean diet or lifestyle came about in the 1960s when there were observations being made that people living in countries that border the Mediterranean Sea had lower coronary heart disease instances compared to Americans and people in Northern Europe. So the Mediterranean countries, typically it's Greece and Italy, but there are a lot of countries on the Mediterranean. And so different people eat different foods depending on what country they live in. But this is just kind of like a general statement of people that live around the Mediterranean had lower rates of coronary heart disease. So they went in and, looked at what everybody was eating there and how they lived, because the lifestyle part is a big component of it as well. And the Mediterranean diet is actually recognized by the World Health Organization as a healthy, sustainable dietary pattern, which is great because I love almost all foods on the Mediterranean diet. And so let's talk about why it's good for us. Then we'll talk about what exactly it is. So it's good for us for so many different reasons. One, it may help or may cause weight loss. It may prevent lots of diseases or issues, such as, a good thing, may reduce blood pressure. It may reduce total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol. And it may help boost brain health. So all of these things are great. Oh, and I forgot to mention, too, if you have any questions or comments, please write them down in the chat. I love everybody interacting, so if you have anything to say or ask, let me know in the chat. Thank you. Okay, so what is the Mediterranean diet? It is a mostly plant-based diet that includes moderate amounts of dairy, eggs, fish, and poultry. So heavy on the plant-based component, but there is still a little bit of eating of dairy and poultry and fish. So let's break it down. So I'm going to show you this really cool pyramid that I drew in a little bit. My artistic abilities are the pyramid. But okay, and it kind of breaks it down, like how much should you eat? What should you be eating daily? What should you be eating weekly? What should you be eating on special occasions? Things like that. So daily, eating-wise, fruits and vegetables, lots of them, 7 to 10 servings, which that's a lot. So I love when a lifestyle or a dietary plan kind of recommends that you're eating more of things. I talked about that when we did the fiber episode where I'm like, okay, this is great. You get to eat more food because you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables and beans and things like that. So lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of whole grains. So we're talking brown rice versus white rice. We're talking quinoa. We're talking farro and teff and amaranth and millet, all those great whole grains. And you can try all different kinds. And they're all good in different ways. You know, like quinoa, this week we made a quinoa bowl. It was quinoa, avocado, caramelized onions, what else? Oh, halloumi cheese, and I don't know, some vegetables. But you can do so much with whole grains. So that's a great one. And healthy fats in particular, extra virgin olive oil. I love this brand. I think I just like the shape of the bottle, but also the oil is good too. So extra virgin olive oil is one of the main healthy fats, avocados, and so those are on the daily. On the weekly is fish, poultry, dairy, and eggs. Dairy such as yogurt and cheese. And by fish, they mean mackerel, tuna, salmon, herring, sardines, poultry, chicken, turkey, things like that. So that's on more of a weekly basis. So 2 to 3 times a week, mixing it up, like maybe not having chicken 3 times a week, but fish twice a week, chicken once a week. Special occasions, red meat, and sweets and desserts. They mostly recommend to have fruit for dessert on most nights. If you're going to have dessert, you don't have to have dessert if you don't want to. So that's basically the food, daily, weekly, special occasions. And then drinks-wise, daily for sure, water. That should be the main source of hydration. And they also say coffee and tea are fine. You know, make sure you're not having a lot of like added sugar or things like that in your coffee or tea. And red wine, one of my favorites, and I know a lot of other people love it too. So they say, you know, like drinking red wine in moderation, 1 glass for women, 2 glasses for men, on the daily basis is good for us. So you don't, you know, they say if you don't drink, you don't need to start drinking red wine. But if you do drink red wine, it's okay. Especially they say to have it with a meal. So that's a good one. And so that's part of the lifestyle. And then they also say sharing meals with friends and family or other people is a big component of it too. So I love that part because I love sharing meals. I know it could be kind of hard during COVID. If you have limited access to eating meals with other people, you could do Zoom meals or eat meals outside, or it's just part of it. So that's a good component. And sitting around a table eating and talking has been found to be a really healthy way to eat your food. So I like that part too. And the last component is physical activity, doing physical activity every day and doing something you enjoy. So you don't have to beat yourself up over doing something that you don't like to do, but like walking or whatever your exercise is, dancing, riding an exercise bike. It's just recommended to do something you enjoy every day. So that's it in a nutshell. I'll go through the list of things that they say not to eat or not to consume. Added sugars, we know that. Like almost everybody is going to say don't have added sugars. Processed meat and processed food. So any sort of like lunch meats that are, you know, have a lot of ingredients in them, or processed foods. All processed foods are going to have lots of ingredients in them. So steer clear of that. This is a fresh food way of life. So make things from scratch. I'm super excited because today we're going to make a tahini sauce that's going to go with our chicken for tonight. I'll tell you our whole menu. It's very exciting. Okay, so back to the list of things to avoid. Refined grains. So white flour, white rice, things like that. Try to do whole grains. And trans fat, which the week that we talked about fat, we talked about trans fat, which you're going to mostly find in processed foods. You're going to find it in fried foods. and things like Crisco. So anything that says partially hydrogenated oil is going to be a trans fat. So just read your labels, read your ingredients, make sure no trans fats. Also avoid refined oils like a vegetable oil, like a soybean oil or canola oil, because those have been refined, and also sweetened beverages like fruit drinks, coffee drinks with lots of sugar added to them. So that's pretty much the list. That's pretty much the list. Okay, so now I want to talk about why some of these things are good for us. I just want to break it down a little bit. So the olive oil. I'll hold my visual aid again. Olive oil is good for us because it's high in monounsaturated fat. Does this have it here? Oh, yes. Okay, so 1 tablespoon is a serving. Has 130 calories, and then it breaks down the fat right down there. Total fat, 14 grams. Saturated fat, 2 grams. Trans fat, 0. Polyunsaturated fat, 1.5 grams. And then monounsaturated fat, 11 grams. Right there. So that's good. That's really good. That's the majority of the fat. So 11 grams of the 14 grams is monounsaturated fat. And monounsaturated fat is good because it can help lower our cholesterol, our total, and our LDL. The LDL is the bad one, so we want to lower that anyway. That helps lower the total. So that's why the monounsaturated fats are so good. That's why the olive oil is so good. We go through a lot of olive oil in our house, so I'm glad that it's a component of this way of living. Fish is also, so the reason why the fish is good is especially the fatty fish like salmon and tuna and sardines and herring, all of that is good because it's high in the polyunsaturated fat. Hey, Kelly! I guess I need a replacement oil for baking. Always use canola. I know. I do too. I use canola oil for most of my baking, but I think there are some alternatives, like safflower oil is supposed to be good, and I mean, some of the light olive oils where you can't taste it. The light olive oil just means it's light, like it's been through more of a process. I don't want to say processed because it's not processed, but it doesn't have as much of that olive oily taste. So light olive oil. Grapeseed oil. Thank you, Kelly. That's an excellent idea. Yes. Yes, grapeseed oil is good. So that's a great alternative. Okay, so back to the fish. Fish is high in polyunsaturated fat. That's where we get our omega-3s. Omega-3s are important for us for so many different reasons. They decrease inflammation, they decrease triglycerides, they can decrease blood clotting, and they can decrease our risk of stroke and heart failure. So polyunsaturated fats, omega-3s, fish, all very important. If you're not a fish eater, such as myself, you can also get this from taking supplements, eating flaxseed, ground flaxseed. I think there's a little bit in chia seeds, which you know I love chia seeds. And other nuts and seeds also have omega-3s. But you can also take supplements if that is something you want to do. And this diet is high in fruits and vegetables, which we discussed. And that's always good because antioxidants, fiber, and vitamins and minerals. We're going to get lots of those from our vitamins or from our fruits and vegetables. And whole grains and nuts and seeds are important for us because protein, fiber, and omega-3s. So whole grains, nuts, seeds, they should be a big part of our diet. So the American Heart Association also does recommend the Mediterranean diet. They also recommend the DASH diet, which is a little bit different. It's a little bit lower in fat, but they do recommend the Mediterranean diet, which I was happy to see, which is always good to see the American Heart Association backing something up, so that's good. Now, on to the Mediterranean diet pyramid. It was developed in 1993. There might be an updated one, but that's the one that I saw. And it was a collaboration between 3 different groups, the Harvard School of Public Health, and then another organization called Old Ways Preservation and Exchange Trust, and also the European Office of the World Health Organization. They made this pyramid based on the former research that people had done back in the 60s, finding that people had lower incidences of coronary heart disease in the Mediterranean countries. They also found, yes, so they had lower rates of chronic disease, and they had higher than average adult life expectancy, despite some people having limited access to healthcare. So that's why they made this pyramid, because they're like, this group of people seem to be really healthy. And you can Google the pyramid online. But I drew one for today because I don't have a printer today here with us. So this is the Mediterranean pyramid, which I really like that they have added physical activity and eating with others at the bottom, the cornerstone of all of this. And then next up is whole grains, breads, legumes, nuts and seeds, fruits and vegetables. Olive oil is up there as a daily. Oh yes, I wrote daily as well. And then a few times per week, fish and seafood. And then another few times a week, dairy, eggs, cheese, poultry, and yogurt. And then sweets and meats on the top as special occasions. And then I put red wine, water, coffee, and then use herbs and spices, lots of herbs and spices. Oh, good. Thanks, Kelly. I'm glad that you like visuals. I do too. I think it's more fun. It makes it more interesting, even if it's a homemade pyramid. But yes, use herbs and spices. And, you can use salt and pepper, of course, too. But it's good because it helps reduce the amount of salt that you might use because you're using herbs and spices. They're very flavorful. I use a lot of lemon juice, too. That's very flavorful. So there was a study. I'm going to talk a couple of studies, then we'll do a tahini lemon dressing that will go with chicken or anything. We'll talk about what else we can put it on. There was a study of 26,000 women who ate the Mediterranean diet, and they were 25% less likely to develop cardiovascular disease over the course of 12 years. And also these women, they found, had changes in their inflammation, changes in their blood sugar, and changes in their body mass index. So that was interesting and good. And then this is just kind of a general research that's been out there that, they have found that eating a low-fat diet doesn't necessarily help, but eating a moderate fat diet is beneficial. Especially when it comes from plant-based oils. Like this diet is also rich in antioxidants because of all the fruits and vegetables. And here's another study. So there was the Nurses Health Study that had 10,670 women between the ages of 57 and 61. And the women who ate the Mediterranean diet were 46% more likely to age healthfully. And what is aging healthfully? There are several criteria, but I thought this was interesting. I like the idea of aging healthfully. So aging healthfully means living 70 years or more. And it looks like we have another. Okay. Living beyond 70 years old. Having no chronic diseases. So chronic diseases include type 2 diabetes, kidney disease, lung disease, Parkinson's disease, or cancer. And also having no major declines in mental health, cognition, or physical function. So they found that these women that were eating the Mediterranean diet between the ages of 57 and 61 were 46% more likely to age healthfully. So I like that idea. That's a good one. So that's kind of it on the Mediterranean diet. Lots of fruits and vegetables. Use olive oil. Right. And fish, poultry, dairy, eggs, handful of times during the week. Red wine with a meal. Lots of exercise, especially doing something you enjoy, and eating your meals with family and friends. That's it. So let's make a lemon tahini sauce. I've already prepared some of the foods, and I'm just going to have to lift them up and show you because I have them on a cutting board right in front of me. So we're going to start off with a clove of garlic that's been chopped. Okay, I have it right here. A clove of garlic chopped. Okay, this is just kind of a sauce that I've made up. I'll give you the recipe tomorrow on Instagram. And we're going to take the lemon squeezer, half of a lemon. We'll start with that. We'll start with half of a lemon. We might add more. And we're going to squeeze that over the garlic. I know I feel like this is like a secret recipe because it's on the cutting board on the table. Okay, so we've got a bowl. Tilt it. Okay, garlic, lemon juice. Okay, we have our trusty tahini. This is such good tahini, Trader Joe's tahini. I love it. I just opened it so you can see that it has a lot of oil on top. So what I do typically is I use a fork to get the tahini out. So I'm still getting some of the oil, but that's probably 2 tablespoons. So we'll do 3 tablespoons of tahini. This is looking good, everybody. Excuse me. And about a half a tablespoon of olive oil. And I kind of feel like a bartender. You know how sometimes they're making your drink, you can't see it. Salt. Excuse me. And pepper. I love these salt and pepper grinders. They were our friends at the house, and it's just been really fun. Joaquin has been enjoying them. Okay, and then I'm taking the fork, and I am just kind of mixing this all together with a fork, kind of like you're scrambling an egg, because the tahini can be kind of thick. And it's going to make a really nice consistency. So this, it's a little bit, it is a little bit thick, so I'm going to add some more olive oil. So let's say we'll use a tablespoon. Okay. So we're going to use this for flavoring our chicken tonight, but you can also use it as a dip. You can drizzle it over vegetables or dip vegetables in it. You can spread it on bread. We're going to have pita bread tonight. We're also going to have made dolmas a couple of times, and they are very labor intensive. So I like to buy the Trader Joe's dolmas. They're really good. And that's going to be our appetizer. Okay. So you can thin this out with water, or you can keep it thick. It doesn't really matter, as long as it is the consistency that you want. So this is a pretty thick consistency, but I think that'll be good for the chicken. So good. Okay, good. We have time to make the other recipe that I wanted to make. So this is a lemon tahini sauce with lots of garlic. We can thin it out with a little bit of water. I unfortunately don't have any with me right here. Oh, yes, I do. I have a cup of water. Okay, so I'll thin it out. But really, you can make it any consistency that you want. So I'll probably use a little bit of this to marinate the chicken tonight, and add some more lemon juice. And then we'll also put it on the chicken. So we're having pita, we're having tahini sauce, we're having dolmas, we're having tzatziki sauce as well. And I am either going to roast garbanzo beans or make hummus. I've got to ask the birthday guy which he would prefer. And rice. And then we're having oatmeal chocolate chip cookies for dessert. Joaquin's been talking about that all week. And I'm really excited about making it too. Okay, so now we're going to make the tzatziki sauce because we have some time. This is great. Okay, so I did a little bit of prep for this as well because this part can take a little while. So I cut a cucumber in half. So you can do, I did English cucumber because it keeps a little bit longer in the refrigerator, but you can do any kind of cucumber. And then you take a spoon and you scrape out all the seeds. I'll just do it. Okay. because why not? It just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, you scrape out the seeds, and then you just take this and run it over a shredder or a grater. So you grate the zucchini or the cucumber, onto a paper towel. Be sure you do it onto a paper towel or a cloth, whatever works for you. And then you squeeze the paper towel. Oops, I'm going to get this out of the way. Okay, then you squeeze the paper towel so you get all the water out of the cucumber. And then what you have left is, this was just a small sample, but this is the cucumber. You can put more, but I just wanted to show you. So I'm putting that in the bowl. Start with the grated cucumber that's been squeezed. We just want to get some of the water out. And then I bought Greek low-fat plain yogurt. You can buy whole milk yogurt too. This was just kind of what I saw. Whole milk or low-fat. And I'm just going to use the whole container. So I'm mixing the yogurt with the cucumber, the grated of garlic that I chopped for this. You can always put more or less garlic, depending on your taste. We eat a lot of garlic in this house. And, I gotta get the lemon squeezer. I call it the lemon squeezer. I guess it's the lemon juicer. We'll do half of a lemon as well. Put that into the yogurt. Okay. Salt and pepper. Salt grinder. Pepper grinder. Okay, and then you mix it all up. This is gonna be good. So this is gonna be a dip. We'll also have some chopped up cucumber. We'll have carrots. So this will be a fun dip. Or we can put it on the chicken. That's always good too. So we can make pita wraps. You can have pita with the hummus on it or the tahini. So many options. So it's going to be a feast. And there'll be red wine. So just round it all out, you know. Okay. So this is the tzatziki. That's a wrap. So the Mediterranean diet is a really fun diet too, because there are so many different countries around the Mediterranean, so you can try different types too. You know, there's Greece, there's Italy, there's Crete. Oh yeah, I did see that was listed as well. Crete or all of the different countries. It's, you know, everybody's different. So thank you for joining today. Try or look up the pyramid if you want another visual aid besides the one that I drew. And yeah, olive oil, fruits, vegetables, fish, chicken, poultry, occasionally during the week. Red wine at dinner, physical activity. Share your meals. That's it. Thank you all for tuning in today. It's been a great show. And I'll take pics of our feasts and I'll post them tomorrow for everybody to see. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for all the questions and comments, Kelly. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye everybody.